kind invitation. I will now share my screen. Okay, now you can see. Okay. So let me start by pointing out that a balanced diet is extremely important, not just for a good health, but also for a good school performance. And if you look at this plate, you can see that half of the plate is filled with fruits and vegetables. One quarter is with carbohydrates, and one quarter with proteins. And that is a balanced plate that should be on the table of every student every day. So I will speak about this, what is healthy student nutrition in terms of what are the energy needs of the students, what is adequate macronutrient ratio, what are about vitamins in the diet, liquids, and about supplements in the diet if they are needed or not. So on this table, you can see what are the energy requirements in the student diet. You see there is a difference if someone is male or female, and you can calculate energy need also by kilograms of body weight. So these guidelines are valid for these values are valid for moderate physical active students who has normal body weight and height, and there should be some adjustment if someone is obese or has low physical activity. So if we talk about what is healthy macronutrient ratio, you can see that 50% of energy intake should be from carbohydrates, 30% from fat, and 20% from proteins. So the carbohydrates are the main energy source and should make up 50% of students' daily energy intake or even more, but not in the terms of simple sugars because they have a high glycemic index, and this is not good for students and our health as well. So it is recommended to consume more complex carbohydrates, which lowers the glycemic index of the food or the meal, and they contain high level of dietary fibers, which is beneficial for digestion. So on this slide, you can see that students should eat as much as foods that are with low glycemic index, like whole grain bread, brown rice, sweet potato, traditional oats, and some fruits. And on the other side, you can see the foods which has high glycemic index. These are white potatoes, white bread, cornflakes, jasmine rice, instant oats. These should be avoided. As I mentioned before, dietary fibers are also very important in students' diet. It should be like 30 grams per day, and most fruits and vegetables contains a mixture of these soluble and insoluble fibers. So what is the role of fibers? So fibers lower glycemic index and also slowing down gastric emptying, and at the same time it speeds up digestion in the small and large intestine, and this can prevent like colon cancer, obesity, high blood cholesterol, diabetes, and also atherosclerosis. So the dietary fibers intake should be it's really important in the student diet, and they can meet these needs if they eat a lot of fruits and vegetables. So if we move on to fats in the diet, the fats should make up to 30% of the daily caloric intake. One can think that's a lot of fats in the diet, but they're also important because they promote the absorption of fat-soluble vitamins like A, D, E, and K vitamin. So they're needed in our diet. And the role is also the food tastes better if some fats are added, and so. But if there is an excessive intake of fats, it can represent a major risk factors for cardiovascular diseases, diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, and some cancers. And you can see on this slide what I mean with bad fats and good fats, and I will discuss it furthermore. So on this slide, you can see bad fats on the left side. These are saturated fats. They're found mainly in meats, butter, dairy products. These fats are solid at room temperature, and they are bad because they increase this bad cholesterol, which is LDL cholesterol. But on the other side, you can see unsaturated fat, which is in form in vegetables oil. They're liquid at room temperatures, and they increase good cholesterol. So these are good fats. So I'm moving further with good fats. These are unsaturated fats, as I mentioned, and we have monounsaturated fats, which are found in olive, avocados, almonds, hazelnuts, pecans, pumpkins, sesame seeds, and we have also polyunsaturated fats, which are found in sunflower, corn, soybeans, flax seeds. And you have probably heard about this omega-3 and omega-6 because it's kind of popular, but I will explain you why it's important. These are two fatty acids that cannot be synthesized by our own body, but the body should take them from our foods. So you see omega-3 we can find in simple, minimally processed traditional foods, and omega-6 we can find in industrial high processed foods, in tinned and baked goods, fried foods, ready to eat meals, and takeaway foods. So all the foods that the student eat in majority. So if we look at that slide, how was nutrition in former times, you can see that the ratio between omega-3 and omega-6 was in former times in equilibrium. That means that this ratio, omega-6 to omega-3, was 5:1. So this ratio is optimal ratio in terms of health, but nutrition today, or especially student nutrition today, it's not in equilibrium, and this ratio is very unhealthy because these omega-6 are 15 to 25:1. This ratio is today, so we should balance this with eating a lot of omega-3. And especially important and harmful are these trans fatty acids, which are made by heating vegetable oils, and these are mainstay in restaurants and in the food industry because they are used for frying, baked goods, processed snack food, and margarine. And this type of the fats are the worst type for heart, blood vessels, and also for the rest of the body, because they can cause us inflammation and cancer. And if you look at this photo, you can see that a lot of these foods are consumed by students, because this food is easily accessible by students, and because this is fast food in short terms. So what should be the tips for eating healthy fats? The students should eat mainly lean foods, including semi-skimmed milk, low-fat dairy and meat products, and should eat seafood at least 1 to 2 times a week. So this could be solution for eating for to the balance between omega-6 and omega-3, the best balance. So what about the proteins? Proteins in the diet are important for development, growth, and repair of cells and tissues. And proteins needs change with age. If we take a look how many proteins an average student who is not very physically active should eat, this is 0.8 proteins per kilogram of body weight, and this should not be more than 20% of the daily energy intake. And if we divide further these proteins, 50% of proteins should be animal protein and 50% from plant proteins. If someone is very physically active, then this protein intake should be around 1.5 grams of protein per kilogram of body weight, but not more, because excessive consumption leads to unnecessary strain on metabolism, kidneys, and liver, and also it can result in poorer calcium utilization. So on this slide you can see how many grams is in which foods, chicken and tofu and milk and so on. So you can see how this can be calculated. So what about micronutrients in student nutrition? I won't go in the details in this subject because I can speak for 1 hour. So I will simplify that if students eat 5 daily proportions of fruits and vegetables, they get enough of micronutrients. So 5 daily portion is enough. What about food supplements, which are popular? I warn about that it can lead to high concentration of certain nutrients that can harm students' body. If someone eats too much of isolated vitamin A, can cause skin changes. Too much of vitamin C can promote formation of urinary and kidney stones, and too much of vitamin E can slow blood clotting. So I do not recommend food supplements, in exception of vitamin D. This I can recommend, and also for students who want to get pregnant, folic acids. And we end with food supplements with that too. What about fluids? The daily requirements are 2 to 3 liters per day. Best fluids are water, mineral water, diluted fruit juices, and unsweetened teas. So fluids are really important because it helps brain to be active. So I will conclude with this plate again. You can remember from my first slide. So half of the plate should be vegetables and fruits, and 1/4 of proteins, and 1/4 of starch and grains, and just a little fats on the plate, and also 8 to 10 cups of water. And this is a healthy student plate, and this is easier to remember than all of these percents that I mentioned before. So thank you for your kind attention.